All right, Mr. Nurse. So welcome back to the show. As I said in the intro, you're a repeat visitor for a reason. So I can't wait to have you at the event. Welcome to the show.
Chris, I appreciate it, man. Anytime we get the opportunity to talk, something really good comes from it. Usually it's me learning a lot from you, but hopefully I'm
Uh,
able to provide some value back to you as well. But
Very reciprocal. You know that.
thank
I
you.
know you literally, as of this recording, were hanging out with Zach for a few minutes earlier. Talk about what's going on there, why we're hanging out so much, and what's going on at the event, and to give these guys a little taste because I think every single listener right this second should register for the event. And I'll give them a link later.
It's actually a no-brainer, and I don't say that in a way of trying to sell tickets or anything like that, but talking with Zach, I find out that tickets are $20, 90% off what they usually cost. So if you break it down to $20 for an opportunity to literally change your life, your income, your way of life, your quality of life, it costs $20 basically to get a tank of gas and a coffee out here in LA. And if
Yeah.
I have that opportunity to pour into myself, like, are you kidding me? To be able to learn from people who have done it at the highest level, I think it's a disconnect too right now. And me and Zach were talking about this in society as we follow what the news is saying. We follow what the experts on the news are saying, where they say, hey, recession is coming. Hey, hold on to every dollar. No, that's the most dangerous thing that you can do.
Yep.
Literally, the people that have that type of mindset, they'll go into the little shell and they'll end up losing it all. What we have coming is one of the most exciting times because there's going to be so much opportunity. And if you want to do a quick Google search on companies that were started during the recession or during the depression in the early 1930s, it's mind blowing. Some of the biggest names that you've heard of were started during that time because people look at it as an opportunity. And that's what this event is going to showcase. I'm going to speak on the mindset of how to pivot your mind, how to shift your mindset and your perspective from a scarcity mindset to actually how do you thrive during these times. I'm going to talk about too of how to sustain greatness, which is a term that never really gets talked about. People have written books on how to go from good to great, and high level performers are able to understand like we know how to get to that great level. And this doesn't even mean that you don't have to be like a CEO or anything to have, but you've been at a point where you've had some success, you've hit it. But the hardest thing is how do you continue to grow on that no matter what your circumstances, no matter what your situations. So I'm going to go into some tools that I've used with NBA teams and learn from some of the best, like the Golden State Warriors, how they continue to reinvent themselves even when they've had success. So all in all, like it is a no-brainer to sign up for this event because one, you're going to get the tools, the skills for real estate, which can grow your entire net worth. So that's something that Chris, I've never asked anybody this question. I've never said, hey, do you want to get involved in real estate? And would you like to make money in real estate? The answer has always been yes.
Yeah.
It's literally the question nobody's ever said no to because everybody wants it. Everybody wants to act like they know how to do it, which is really funny to me because I'll even admit, like, I only know the basics. I don't know the super details of it, and I'd love to learn, and I'm going to learn and sit in and learn more while I'm out there too. And nobody wants to admit that they do. And then nobody ever says that they don't want to do it, but yet they're not taking the right action to be able to do it. So, that being said, instead of having one coffee and 1 gallon of gas, you can change your entire life. And I'm going to bring you the mindset tools that the top performers, athletes, CEOs use on a daily basis.
I love it. I love it. So here's a few things that you saw me scribble notes as you were talking because this is so cool. You like were nailing some key things. First of all, at the event, if you're brand new to real estate, or even if you need a refining, we're gonna of course hit the skill set stuff. Like that's a given. But here's what I've been screaming about. I've been screaming about, Dave, that in the next 2 to 5 years, in my opinion, there's enormous opportunities. No hiding that fortunes are created during these types of chaotic markets. Okay, if that's the case, I'm saying to everybody, you have 12 months coming out of this event. You have 12 months to create a decade of income. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying everybody will do it. I'm saying if you work your ass off in 12 months, you can go ahead and create a decade of income. Now, what's that going to require? What Dave's going to talk about. That's what's going to require. because it's not going to be easy. I see most real estate people screaming, "Oh, it'll be easy, be a millionaire tomorrow." No, it's going to be hard work. But is it enough? Is it worth it for you to do that for a year with David's help with the mindset piece? Because you're going to need it during that year. You're going to have times where you go, I'm doubting it. You got the drunk monkey on your shoulder. And so I maybe you can give some tidbits or some nuggets around that piece, Dave, because they're going to need it during that sprint, and be able to create a decade of income is not a small statement. So any other thoughts on that? I know it's kind of what you alluded to, but it made me really pounce on this.
For sure. And it's such a great point where we live in a day and age of everybody wants instant success. They want to drop the tablet in the water and you have this whole big phenomenal business that you grew in a day. It doesn't happen. But that's also the exciting point, Chris, is the formula for it. It's not necessarily difficult. The formula, like if you read the book Atomic Habits, it's one of the best-selling personal development books in the last 20 years. Very basic. And the whole premise of it is if you do one thing a day, one small step a day, you're going to get there. But most people want it now. And if they don't see that ROI right away, or things get difficult, they think, well, that's a sign I should give up. No, that means you've just learned a way that it hasn't actually worked. And if you're willing to sit in what I call the pit. So there's a leadership square, and I'll just go over this briefly.
I love it.
You lead yourself around the square. So you start with incompetent confidence. This is like a kid coming out of college thinking they're going to take over the business world, or you get a little real estate advice and you think you're going to be a billionaire from the jump. You need that kind of incompetent confidence, but there's going to come a point where you hit a roadblock. And when you hit that roadblock, you fall off the edge of the square into what's called the pit. This pit is uncomfortable. This pit could be 3 months. This could be 6 months of just stagnation. This pit it hurts. It's a struggle. It's tough. It's difficult. But the people that understand that's part of it and embrace the suck and embrace the pit, it's like a coal. You drop it in the fire. The longer it's in that fire, the more it's refined and comes out a shinier diamond on the other side. Most people get that little singe from the pit and they're out. They're gone. So you, knowing this, is going to be part of it, that the formula is not difficult, but the implementation on a daily basis, it can be challenging. But also understanding you have an ace up your sleeve if you understand this. You know that most people are going to give up. 95% of people will give up when times get tough. But if you're that person that's going to embrace these difficult things, like I know, Chris, for a fact, like I'm not the smartest person in any room. I'm never the most talented person in any room, but I know I am never going to give up.
Yep.
And I know that I'm going to embrace doing the things that other people don't necessarily love to do. And by doing that, I'm going to be successful. Because there's a key, and I've seen this, and I was just at a workout with an NBA All-Star, a max contract All-Star, like literally was 3 hours ago. And we were talking about, it's funny because we were talking about like what makes players great. And I've had this formula for what I think makes an NBA All-Star, but he hit on a piece that I hadn't even thought about. So it's crazy that we're talking about this now. And this is not something where I just say, hey, this is the new piece that I got. This is the new piece that I got. He says he embraces the boredom, the boring days when he doesn't feel like working out. Like he's gotten really good at embracing the boring days. So if you can get really good at embracing the days that are just monotonous and the same over and over again, and you don't see the numbers going up, you don't see the ROI, you're going to be very dangerous. But it's a lot easier said than done. So I'm going to give you some tools that you can actually utilize on a daily basis to implement into your routines to make sure that you embrace these habits, and that when day 45 comes and you feel stuck and you feel bored, that you're not going to give up. And even if you do fall off the horse, there's definitely ways, there's catches that can put you right back on it. And we'll show you all that at the event, in the talk, but you got to come out to it.
I love it. I don't want to forget to give the link, because I'll gab this whole time with you and have fun like I always do and then forget. So go to smartrealestatecoach.com/podcast20. You'll get the ticket for $20, guys. Come on. Here's something else I want to say, David. I know you're huge in this, and you just have an amazing center of influence around you. So I want to say to the Wicked Smart listeners, make no doubt about it. Like who you hang out with, who you elbow with, it makes an enormous difference, way bigger than you think. It's not about a contact. It makes an enormous difference in every which way. So maybe you can comment on that. But first, I want to say this behind you, and if they're listening to the audio of this, they need to go watch the video because behind you is your books, Breakthrough and Pivot and Go. I've read them both. We give them to our community. Why? They're awesome. And if you're not sure, just on David and I talking, I hope you are now that you have to be there. But if you're not, go grab his books, Pivot and Go and Breakthrough. And if you read those and you honestly go, yeah, I wouldn't want to meet him. I would fall on the floor on the stage at the event because the books are amazing and you have a chance to meet him in person. I don't know how many books I've read where I've picked up the phone or emailed or in some way messaged the author because they said, this is amazing. That's how you're going to feel when you get to the book. So thoughts on kind of who you hang out with, Dave?
It's the most important thing. It is honestly the most important thing you can do for growing a business, for growing a brand, for just growing as a human being. It's the rooms that I've been able to get into by just putting myself out there, by taking that step, has changed it all. I'm gonna give you a few examples. So the only reason I got into the NBA, to be a coach in the NBA, is I hand wrote a letter to every NBA GM. I think we've talked about this. One of them got back to me. He was the one who started connecting me with other GMs, with other coaches. All my relationships have been built from taking that chance.
Amazing.
I would also go out to a place, I'd find out where the NBA coaches, GMs, players, where it all would be. It's in July in Las Vegas, NBA Summer League. That's where they all come to. So think about this. This is a gathering of the top real estate minds for $20 that you can go to. That doesn't happen. But and everybody knows it's here. Like just by going there and being in proximity, you might meet somebody who's going to give you a deal down the line. It might not come to fruition right there that day, but the relationships that you build, oh my goodness, like that's everything. These books don't sell anything if I don't hit the people in my network. Hey, Ed Milet. Hey, John Gordon. Hey, can you put this out in your newsletter? Can you promote this? Hey, I'm thinking about this idea of doing a TV show and a big initiative to speak to the youth. All right, I hit my TV guy because I built a relationship with him. Like that's the only way you're able to do anything. If I didn't have these relationships, it's just me talking to my wife and my puppy. But people are afraid to take that chance. Deals don't get done just sending messages. Deals get done in person, and also being able to go for what your dreams are, your goals are being around like-minded, driven people who want to see you succeed. It's having, I think, the most important combination you can have with the people around you is a group that will support you. They'll support you when you need it, but they'll also challenge the heck out of you. You don't want just yes men. You want people who are in your corner, but people who are going to push you and hold you accountable. And that's the type of relationships that I know that if people come, they will find that. Because I'll hit on it one more time is you cannot get to where you want to get on your own. It is physically impossible. It's never been done. And it's not even fun doing it that way. So build relationships.
Love it. And Dave, you're kicking off the event. So I just want to say this, and I think we gave him enough. In my clear, blunt, to the point style, I'm going to say we gave him enough. They should be at the event. But one last comment is you're kicking the event off. So they're going to want to get there the night before because it's not, I don't care if you're driving 3 hours. Get there the night before. Dave's kicking off early morning, September 14th, Wednesday. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Dave, I can't wait to hang out with you. I hope you bring that puppy, by the way. That'd be cool to meet your dog, too. And we're going to have some great time. With whoever shows up, we're going to add some serious value, and you will consider the best time that you spend. I promise you that, every single one of you Wicked Smart listeners. Dave, thanks again for being on, buddy. Can't wait to see you.
Hey, and anybody that signs up, direct message me on social media. Let me know that you signed up. I'm going to send you a signed book of Breakthrough, and I personally would love to meet you there too. If you send me a message, we'll definitely get time to talk together.
Dave, best way to hit you on social then?
Yeah, just direct message me. It might take me a couple days to get back, but I'll get right back to it. It's David Nurse, NBA.
Awesome. David Nurse, NBA. Dave, pleasure as always, buddy. We'll see you in less than 2 months. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, man.